This is part 2 of Friendship, Lies and Betrayal. Are they truly best friends or the worst kind of enemies? Last time, Gina followed her boyfriend Jack, only to catch him at their special restaurant holding hands with none other than her best friend Lucy. The betrayal cuts deep, but what happened next? Did Gina confront them? Did the truth finally explode? Let's find out. She watched as Jack handed Lucy a small gift box, smiling as she opened it, a delicate gold bracelet, the kind of jewelry Gina had always admired but never asked for. Her eyes burned with unshed tears. How could he do this? How could she? Gina clenched her fists. She could feel her body trembling, not with sadness, but with rage. She had given Jack everything, her time, her money, her heart, and this was how he repaid her? And Lucy, her best friend, the woman she had trusted with her deepest secrets, she had been the enemy all along. Gina took a deep breath and wiped her tears. She wasn't going to cry, not yet. If they thought they could betray her and get away with it, they were mistaken. She turned around and walked back to her car, her mind racing. She needed a plan, a way to make them pay, and she knew exactly how to do it. That night, Gina didn't sleep. She sat in her room, thinking about every sacrifice she had made for Jack. She remembered how she had supported him when he had nothing, how she had spent her hard-earned money to care for him and his family, and all along, he had been using her, pretending to love her, while secretly chasing after her best friend. No, she wasn't going to let this go. The next evening, Jack called her. His voice filled with excitement. Gina, I have something special planned for you. Can you come over tonight? Gina forced a smile. Of course, I can't wait. She already knew what was coming. Jack was finally going to propose. He thought she was still blindly in love with him. He had no idea what was coming. That night, Gina dressed in her best outfit, applied a little makeup, and looked at herself in the mirror. She wasn't going to cry. She wasn't going to beg. She was going to make them regret ever betraying her. When she arrived at Jack's house, she found a small gathering of family and friends. The room was beautifully decorated with fairy lights and soft music played in the background. Jack stood in the center, a nervous but excited smile on his face. As Gina stepped inside, Lucy appeared from the corner of the room, her smile too wide, too fake. She must think she has won, Gina thought bitterly. Jack cleared his throat and took Gina's hands. Gina, you're the most amazing woman I've ever met. You have been with me through everything, supported me, loved me, and I can't imagine my life without you. Gina could hear murmurs from the guests. Everyone was watching, waiting for the big moment. Jack got down on one knee and pulled out a ring. Gina, will you marry me? The room erupted in cheers. People clapped and whistled, but Gina remained still, looking down at Jack with a blank expression. Silence fell. Jack's smile flattened. Gina, he whispered. Gina slowly took the microphone from the DJ's table and turned to face the crowd. Before he answered that question, she said, her voice steady, I want to tell everyone a little story. Jack and Lucy exchanged nervous glances. There was once a woman who loved a man with all her heart. Gina continued. She helped him, supported him, and sacrificed so much for him. But little did she know the man was a liar, a cheater, a man who pretended to love her while secretly sleeping with her best friend. Gasps filled the room. Jack's face turned pale. Lucy's eyes widened in horror. Gina turned to Jack. You thought I wouldn't find out, didn't you? That I would stay blind forever. She let out a cold laugh. Jack, I saw you. I saw you and Lucy together, holding hands, laughing, sharing gifts, and to think you used my money to spoil her? Jack stammered. Gina, I can explain. No need. Gina cut him off. She took a deep breath and turned to the guests. I will not be marrying this man. Tonight, I will free myself from this betrayer. She dropped the microphone, took the bracelet Jack had once gifted her, and threw it on the floor. The room was in chaos. Jack was humiliated. Lucy stood frozen, her mouth slightly open as whispers filled the air. Gina walked out, her head held high. She had loved Jack, but she loved herself more. She wouldn't allow anyone to treat her like she was nothing. As she stepped into the night, she heard someone call her name. She turned to see Jack running after her. Gina, please, he begged, out of breath. I made a mistake. I love you. Gina turned to look at him, her expression unreadable. Then she smiled, a small, sad smile. You never loved me, Jack. You loved what I gave you. And now it's gone. You have nothing left. With that, she turned and walked away, leaving Jack standing there, lost and broken. Lucy had thought she had won, but she was wrong. She had destroyed the only person who truly cared for her, and soon she would learn a painful lesson, one that would haunt her for the rest of her life. News of the broken engagement spread like wildfire. By the next morning, the entire town was buzzing with gossip about how Gina had exposed Jack and Lucy in front of family and friends. Everywhere Lucy went, people whispered behind her back. Women sneered, shaking their heads in disapproval. Men chuckled, calling Jack a fool. Lucy had thought she had won. She had believed that once Gina was out of the picture, she and Jack would be together, happy and free. But she had been wrong. The moment Gina left that night, Jack said to Lucy, "This is all your fault," he snapped at her as the guest stared in shock. Lucy's eyes widened. "My fault?" she asked, stunned. "You were the one sneaking around with me. You lied to Gina. You used her money for me." Jack clenched his jaw, his face red with anger. "I made a mistake," he muttered. "I should have never fallen for you." Lucy felt like the ground beneath her feet was crumbling. Jack was abandoning her just like that after everything. Jack's parents, who had once adored Gina for her kindness and generosity, looked at Lucy with disgust. His mother shook her head. "You will never be the woman Gina was," she spat before turning away. People began leaving, their faces filled with disappointment. No one congratulated Lucy. No one celebrated her as she had hoped. Instead, she was left standing there, humiliated and alone. Days passed and things got only worse for her. Wherever she went, people looked at her with judgment. The women in the marketplace whispered as she walked past, "That's the one who betrayed her best friend," one would say. "No shame at all," another would add. The pain of public disgrace was unbearable. Lucy had always loved attention, but now the attention she received was filled with hatred. Jack, on the other hand, began to feel the weight of his decisions. He had lost Gina, the only woman who had ever truly cared for him. He thought being with Lucy would be exciting, but now the excitement was gone. He saw Lucy for what she truly was: selfish, manipulative, and deceitful. Still, he tried to make it work. They were in this together, weren't they? But it didn't take long before the cracks started to show. Unlike Gina, Lucy didn't take care of him the way he was used to. She didn't support him financially. She didn't buy gifts for his parents. She wasn't as patient or understanding. Whenever Jack asked her for money, she would scoff. "Do I look like a bank?" she would snap. Jack soon realized that without Gina's help, he had nothing. His financial struggles grew, and his frustration built inside him. He started drinking, coming home late, and blaming Lucy for everything. One evening, after a heated argument, he lost control. He grabbed Lucy's arm roughly, pushing her against the wall. "You tricked me," he shouted. "You made me ruin my life." Tears streamed down Lucy's face. "I thought you loved me," she cried. Jack laughed bitterly. "Love? You were just a distraction. I never loved you. Gina was the real prize, and I let her go because of you." Those words hit Lucy like a knife to the heart. Jack regretted everything. He didn't see her as his future. He saw her as a mistake that destroyed his happiness. The abuse continued. Every day, Jack grew colder. The sweet words, the laughter, the romance, it was all gone. Instead, their home was filled with shouting, insults, and sometimes even violence. Lucy tried to leave, but the shame was too much. If she left, where would she go? She had lost friends, lost respect, lost everything. She had thought she would steal Gina's life, but now she was trapped in a nightmare. Meanwhile, Gina was thriving. She had taken time to heal from the heartbreak, and slowly she found happiness again. She focused on her job, surrounded herself with people who truly cared for her, and learned to love herself again. One day, as she walked through the market, she saw Lucy. She barely recognized her. Lucy looked pale, thin, and exhausted. Her once bright, confident eyes were now filled with sadness. Gina stopped, looking at the woman who had betrayed her. She expected to feel anger, but instead, she felt nothing. Lucy had destroyed herself. Lucy met Gina's gaze, her lips trembling. She wanted to speak, to say something, but what could she say? That she was sorry, that she regretted everything, but Gina didn't need an apology. She had already moved on. With a small smile, Gina turned and walked away, leaving Lucy standing there, broken and alone. Lucy sat alone in the small dark room she now called home. It was nothing like the life she had imagined for herself. The fancy restaurants, the gifts, the attention, it all disappeared. She had thought she was winning when she stole Jack from Gina, but now she realized she had only destroyed herself. Jack was no longer the charming man who once inspired sweet words to her. His love had turned to hatred. Every day, he blamed her for everything. Every time he looked at her, there was anger in his eyes. He had lost the woman who truly cared for him, and now he was stuck with someone he didn't even respect. The abuse worsened. Jack came home drunk almost every night, throwing insults at her, calling her names, sometimes even hitting her when his rage got out of control. Lucy, who had once been so proud, now lived in fear. She tried to pretend everything was fine, but the world saw the truth. Her once glowing face was now tired and pale. The same people who used to gossip about Gina now gossiped about her. She betrayed her best friend, and look where it got her, they would say. She thought she was smart, but now she's suffering. Everywhere she went, she heard the whispers. People no longer respected her. No one wanted to be her friend. One day, as she sat outside her home, lost in thought, an older woman from the neighborhood approached her. "Young lady," the woman said, shaking her head, "you dug this pit for yourself." Tears filled Lucy's eyes. She wanted to argue, to say it wasn't her fault, but deep down, she knew the truth. She had done this to herself. Meanwhile, Jack's life was falling apart as well. After Gina left, he lost his financial stability she had provided. He had been so used to her kindness, her generosity, that he didn't know how to survive without it. His job barely paid enough to support himself, and Lucy wasn't helping. She was not the perfect wife material he had once imagined. She didn't buy gifts for his family. She didn't take care of his needs like Gina did. She wasn't as patient, as understanding, or as selfless. Regret consumed him. One evening, after another heated argument with Lucy, Jack sat alone in a bar, drowning in sorrow in alcohol. He thought about Gina, the way she used to smile at him, the way she supported him even when she had nothing to gain. He had thrown away a diamond for a stone. He picked up his phone, his fingers trembling. He scrolled through his contacts until he found her name, Gina. He hesitated for a moment, then pressed the call button. The phone rang once, twice. Then a calm voice answered, "Hello." His heart pounded. "Gina," he breathed. "It's me, Jack." There was silence on the other end. Then Gina spoke. "Why are you calling me Jack?" Her voice was steady, emotionless. She was no longer the woman once begged for his love. I made a mistake," Jack stammered. "I was blind. I didn't see much of how you love me. I was a fool, Gina. Please, can we talk?" Gina sighed. "Jack," she said softly, "I have nothing to say to you." Jack's throat tightened. "Please, just one chance. I miss you." "You don't miss me, Jack," she replied. "You miss what I gave you. But love isn't about what someone can give. It's about how they make you feel. And you made me feel worthless." Jack closed his eyes, his chest aching. "Gina, please." "Goodbye, Jack." The call ended. Jack stared at his phone, the reality sinking in. He had lost her forever. No matter how much he regretted it, there was no going back. Meanwhile, Gina smiled as she put her phone down. That call had confirmed everything she already knew. She had made the right decision. She had walked away from a toxic love, and now she was free. Months passed and Gina's life flourished. She received a promotion at work, traveled to new places, and met people who truly valued her. She had learned to love herself, and in time, she even found love again, real love, built on respect and honesty. As for Lucy, her suffering didn't end. One night, after another brutal fight with Jack, she packed her things and left. She had nothing, no friends, no job, no respect, but she had finally learned her lesson. She had tried to steal someone else's happiness, and in the end, she lost everything. Jack too was left with nothing but regret. Betrayal had destroyed them both. And Gina, she walked away from the pain, stronger than ever, ready to embrace the bright future that awaited her. And that's how it all unfolded. Lies were exposed, hearts were broken, and the true colors of friendship and love came to light. What would you have done if you were in Gina's shoes? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more real emotional stories just like this, filled with drama, betrayal, healing, and strength. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next chapter. More twists are coming. You don't want to miss them.